Well, hello, everybody. Dr. Ron Oberstein here, president of Life West, and welcome to another edition of Life by Life West. And I've got a chiropractor with me today that you are just going to love to hear from, that you're going to learn a ton of information. And we've got so much in common. I got Dr. Frank Vaught. Welcome, Frank, to the show.
So glad to be here with you, Doc. So glad, and I'm so excited what you're doing in the profession, Doc. Glad to be here, Doc. Glad to be here.
I appreciate that. And I just want to let you know something about Dr. Frank. He graduated in 2003 from Logan University. Before that, he was a scholarship football player at Central Methodist University. From there, he found chiropractic. Maybe we'll hear that story of how that happened. Maybe not. But Frank grew up in Detroit. I just found out today, we both grew up in Detroit, but I just found out today we were living 3 miles from each other. And the high school that he went to is the high school that my father went to probably 60 years before him, but it doesn't matter. And anyway, so Frank, after he graduated, went to Louisville. He went to Muhammad Ali City and went to Louisville, Kentucky. Did some mentoring over there, internship over there, associateship. Then he went to the southern suburbs of Chicago, and he's been in Chicago ever since. He had multiple practices. Now he's got one big practice. He's mentoring doctors. He's doing something called Evoke, where they're mentoring. It's a mentoring group for any chiropractors and students, but they focus a lot on minority chiropractors, but any chiropractor can join it. But he's just got some great stuff, and you're going to love this interview today, or this not even an interview. This is more of our leadership line. You're going to love this. So Frank, let's jump into it, man. Obviously, we got those Detroit roots, and we certainly are craving a victory for the Lions one year in the Super Bowl. But let's talk chiropractic, And
Absolutely.
I think the first thing we should talk about, to be honest, is that share with our audience. So here you are, a black, gentleman leaving football, leaving Central Methodist University and going to Logan and in St. Louis, and more about stepping into a white profession. I mean, let's face it. That's the truth. And what was it like? What was your experience like?
Well, the experience in going to Logan, it's just leaving Logan alone. Leaving Central Methodist alone. I was a small private college. So, it was already predominantly white there. So stepping onto the campus and looking at the canvas of it wasn't the intimidation. It was more so the unknown of what chiropractic was. And then looking around, and it seemed like everybody else had this foundational knowledge or support of some kind on chiropractic. It's just that I had a driving force behind me. My mother had multiple sclerosis. And when I found out that chiropractic actually dealt directly with the nervous system, it was more a mindset of trying to be unstoppable. And going and getting something that I could bring back to help and support and heal. And I knew chiropractic was the solution, but really looking at around the campus, I think it was only about 70 people, 2 other Black students in my class. And I liked those odds, Doc. I felt that, okay, that means I got to be really, really good at this and build this bridge. So a lot more people can come because I think this chiropractic thing is amazing.
Yeah. And I know you got that athletic mindset, obviously. So,
Right.
If there's anything there, man, you're going to make sure, okay, how do I figure my way around it, through it,
Right.
But did you have a lot of mentors, where you're looking, was there anything stark there, as far as, and I'm not talking about Logan. All the colleges are the same, and Logan's producing great chiropractors, and the president of Logan is a really close friend of mine, Clay McDonald, and just a wonderful educator. Was there anything there as far as just, not seeing in our profession necessarily, the mentors that were out there of people of color?
And to be perfectly honest, there really wasn't many mentors. There really wasn't many people that you heard about in the Black community. As a matter of fact, chiropractic was almost non-existent in the Black community, unless you were in a car accident or you had some terrible back pain. That was, I mean, but then, you know, in the Black community, oftentimes it was, you know, some drugs or a massage, because just keeping it moving. Being in school, one of the things that I looked at was I was oftentimes looking for that. We had the ABCA, which was awesome, and but I oftentimes treated the ABCA as an opportunity to meet other doctors and students. But as far as getting the mentorship or the leadership or what's really out there when you become a Black chiropractor, what that community is like, what the underserved population is like, it's an unknown. It's an unknown because it's oftentimes thrown to the side. I a few months ago, I had a student call me from a college, and she called me at 9:30 at night, and literally she was crying, and she said she was talking to some of the people with the association, and one of the things that was mentioned is that, you know, oh, Black people don't get chiropractic. They don't spend money. They don't pay for it. And she was stunned. I mean, she was deflated because she been to the clinic. She's seen what things that she hears how we talk, and there's not a knowledge of it out there. So it's an ignorance of being ignorant, of not knowing, and that's the true reason why I believe that why we're at the 8 to 10%. And it was frustrating, but having good friends and having that drive to go out there and to make a change made it more palatable. But as far as having the mentorship or the direction that I saw that the other students had at that point in time was non-existent.
Yeah, well, I know you got a passion to mentor, you know. I know that, you know, and I know that you've got partners and you guys are really working to up level the profession on that side, right?
Absolutely.
What are you seeing right now? Like, you know, like just in your practice, because, you know, if you look and you see, you know, we send a white doctor, like you talked about, there's not many, you know, what chiropractic was pretty much non-existent in the Black community, right? And if what our vision is, you know, or at least my vision is to make sure that every woman, child, and man on this planet, you know, has access to chiropractic care. And if we've got large populations just in our cities alone, let alone forget about India and all these other places around the world where it's no, you know, we're very little, but it's just in the US and Canada, you got these large cities and you got these areas where there's no accessibility to chiropractic, right? You know, and we'll talk about the Black community, like you just said, it was pretty much non-existent. What do we need to do? Like, I know you're taking care of, you know, you're in the Black community. What do we have to do for that?
See, the thing about the Black community, oftentimes, just with the history of doctors and even going to hospitals, even currently now sometimes, oftentimes there's a communication barrier gap, there's a socioeconomic gap, there's an education gap, and so it also spreads things out so far from the food in the cities, the access to the resource in the cities. So chiropractic, you know, you go in and you're teaching this message. The thing is honestly, Dr. Ron, is taking the philosophy of chiropractic and making it make sense to that community. It's not a thing of being pain-free. It's not because people have ways to deal with pain. It's not a thing of being healthy. People have their ways to be healthy. It's the philosophy of chiropractic. Mm-hmm. Being able to go and penetrate that in the city, that's what changed the mind. One of the things my mentor and I talk with the docs and I tell even my patients is healing doesn't happen anywhere. It starts up here. Because what you really think about, you truly bring about. And if we can understand where it comes from, then that sparks this thing called hope, right? So all of a sudden now we got hope for something, and then we begin to yearn for it. Then that information comes in, and chiropractic just makes sense. Yeah. So if you can educate people, if you can give people hope, there is no limit, there's no ceiling to the transformation that can change, and even the reach of chiropractic, Dr. Ron.
Yeah, you know, one of my close friends in and mentors, Dr. Fred Barge. Fred used to always say this, and I say this I teach a class in first quarter. I don't teach the course, but I teach two different classes, right? Where I just go in for one class and another class with first quarter. And one is on the history of chiropractic, right? The other is on more development, leadership development. And I always talk about Fred Barge, and I always say the same thing. It's just what you said. Fred used to say, Dr. Barge used to say, the one thing you never take away from a patient is hope. Because if you take that drive away, if you take that thing, it doesn't mean you implant false hope. That's not what he's saying. But who am I or who are you to be able to say whether this person can heal or not? It's not between us and them. I don't know that, I mean, we've seen people heal from all different things, right? So it's getting them to reconnect, like you said, within themselves. Like, do I have that opportunity? Do I have that power within me? Do I have that strength within me to be able to bring about this healing, and then we just tell our philosophy. But you said a really good point, Frank. You talked about what people are buying is not the pain remedy. It's not even the feeling better, even the wellness stuff, what they're really attaching onto is what our philosophy is, right? And when you express that, is it communicated differently? Because I want to get into something with you. I want to talk about, getting chiropractic mainstream, but is there a way that you communicate, how do you communicate your message of our philosophy?
So you got different groups of people hear things differently, right? Some people, they thrive off of information. If you're really smart, they want to talk to you. They Dr. Ron, they like somebody smart. Right. Then you got some people that's like, oh, you know what? The environment is everything. This is a great environment. I need to go and I need to hang out there. I need to be around. I need to be associated with this environment because, like, I want to be on the end thing because everybody's doing this. That's doing it, right? Everybody that's doing it's doing it. But then you got that group of people. That want you to really care. They want you to really know that it's that the pain is really deep and that nobody's listening. A chiropractor once told me, you can hit your patients on the back with a brick. It doesn't matter if you can adjust them good or not. They care how much you care. In our community right now, it's oftentimes we don't think people care. When something happens to someone in the Black community, or just blown off. If children go missing in the Black community, or just blown off. If nobody cares, they need to know that you care. When you take the philosophy of chiropractic and you sit down and you share it, and I thank God for Dr. Schiffman for mentoring me, coaching me the years he did, because if I didn't learn the philosophy of chiropractic and how it is supposed to be applied in a capacity that's bigger than what I can think, right? You can't just go and try to, you gotta have the vision of something way bigger than yourself, but one person at a time, Dr. Ron, one person at a time. If you can take and transform one person at a time's life, you have the ability to change the world. You can cause the shift, but it comes from a space, though. It comes from a space and a place of caring. And I'm not talking about acting. I'm talking about true, integral, authentic caring, opening your heart and loving people. And that starts with preparing yourself. But in order to prepare yourself, you can't pour out of an empty cup. You got to fill yourself up with something, right? You got, and that's that principle. I'm sorry, I'm going too long, Dr. Ryan.
No, you're good, man. I'm going, yeah, that's exactly it. No, it's exactly it, man. And we call that, Frank, and it is our philosophy. That's it. We call it the why, our why. Like, why do you get up in the morning? Why do you, I don't care what you do, whether you're a chiropractor, whether you're a plumber, whatever. If you got that why that, you want to go and change the world, you want to help people have heat in their house, and you're an HVAC, but you're so passionate about it, right? I mean, that's what life is about living, right? I mean, come on. You know,
Mhm.
you don't just go get passion on Sunday or on Saturday or, you know, from a church or a synagogue or a mosque or wherever. You know, it's just not about one day to fill you up all week. It's about what do you carry with you every single day, you know, and about healing, like you talked about, you know, being a healer, it's about caring. And then when that philosophy is there on the why, right? It's incredible.
It's the people are talking about passion, and I'm glad I had this conversation with you because I feel your passion, man. I always do when I'm around you, man. You got a phenomenal space, man, of energy, man, and gratitude, but more so like of giving. Like every time I'm around you, I receive something, but it's not about you. So it's my thing is this: how can you not be passionate about something that always works? That's perfect in every way, right? Innate is perfect. How can you not be passionate? How can you not be excited when you wake up and you get an opportunity to be perfect at something? I come home with the wife and the kids. Oh man, I'm 2 for 3. I'm 2 for 10 every time, right? I'm 2 for 10. But when I'm in the office and I'm giving an adjustment, man, innate is always perfect. It's just showing up. And this is why I get excited about it, man, because, man, I make a lot of mistakes. I forget a lot of things. But dang it, man, when I'm adjusting and I'm present and I'm becoming one with the bone, man, man, it's an amazing feeling. And it's not a thing of giving, man, because you can't outgive the giver, man. I can't outgive innate intelligence. I can't. I cannot give innate intelligence, but it keeps giving. It's working after the adjustment. It's working after the adjustment, right? And then I get to receive, but I only get to receive in a platform of how I give.
Yeah.
So I need to show up as the servant. And when we show up like that, man, I tell you what, so it's a whole way that you think, man. It truly is. It truly is a whole way that you think when it becomes to delivery, right? And that's where the attractive stuff comes. So you wonder why you get around certain people. Why does Dr. Ryan always make me smile? Why does he make me happy? How does he connect with me? I'm white, he's black, he's orange, he's green. Why does he got it like that? And it's because of it's showing up and being hollow, man, and being able to have something that keeps giving that you don't even have to give to. You don't got to recharge it. It got more energy than it. What's the Energizer Bunny? I've seen that one fall over before, Doc. But not innate intelligence.
But I will tell you this, you know, I mean, we have different commodities in our world, right? We've got money is a commodity, real estate is a commodity, gold is a commodity, and love is a commodity. And, you know, there's an old, Dr. Sid Williams used to say that the more love you give, you know, love is one of the only commodities that will exponentially grow the more you give it. Right. You know, just like you plant stuff out in the field or out in the garden. Right. And all of a sudden, you know, I got an aspen grove outside of my place here in Montana. And you know, we just came back here last week and we got new aspen trees growing. Right. So the more that's there, they just keep growing more and more and more. And that's what
Right.
You know, and that's what you're talking about. You know, but let's talk about this because, you know, we got a few minutes left, but I want to talk about taking chiropractic mainstream, you know, because obviously, you know, you got a mission, you know, you want to make sure that the southern area of Chicago where you are understands chiropractic. And I know you had multiple clinics and then, you decided to, let's just get one big clinic, right? And then you're going to start seeding other clinics, but, you know, you just want to kind of bring this in. How do we start? What do you see about the mainstream, you know, taking chiropractic mainstream?
Taking chiropractic mainstream is going to have to come with investing in the youth right now. It's investing in the doctors that are coming up right now. Where we're at right now is where we're at. We can do so much, but I used to think that if I had 10 clinics and I saw 1,000 out of each clinic, I could touch 10,000 people. I could change the world, right? And I was talking with my partners in St. Louis, Dr. Everett and Dr. Ed every day. They're growing and growing and growing. They say we could see 10,000, you know, we could change the world. But then we begin to go to conferences and we would go and talk with docs and they had like a totally different ideology. It's like, oh man, you know, I'm going to, you know, and there's nothing wrong with PI, there's nothing wrong with anything like that. But, you know, it's like chiropractic is so much bigger than the boxes oftentimes that we put it in. So the biggest thing is going to be making sure that we literally invest into the next generation of doctors, right? We invest into the next generation of doctors, and in my opinion, especially in the underserved community, Doc, when I started chiropractic school, it was 11% of the people in the planet were getting chiropractic. You know, as the years went on, a few years ago, I heard it was 7 to 10%. And I'm like, how did that decrease? Well, one thing I did know was I believe the minority population increased in the United States. So all of a sudden now, the chiropractic reach is decreasing. So in order for us, it's our responsibility to let these doctors know the power of what they have, but more and bigger, because I think the schools do that when they teach philosophy, but these communities know that, and we have to do it through the doctors. We have to do it through tapping into them, filling them up, guarding them. When we see students, mentoring them, pouring into them, because doctors know what's out here. They know what's out here. They see what's out here. It's the students that don't know. Yeah. And once we can get to the doctors, we can get them in the communities. Yeah. We can get them the resources. Once that spark goes off in the communities and all of a sudden there's this hope, people start asking for where they can go see a chiropractor at. Yeah, yeah. Then there's this big, when there was these riots and the cities were tearing down, you know that chiropractic offices weren't touched. Yeah. I got chiropractic offices weren't touched. You can't touch something that brings light. That's right. Even in the midst of darkness and chaos, right? Because they know that place brings light. Yeah. You know, so, and this is community. That's how it's going to get to the popular. People are going to look up and say, oh, okay, I drive by here every day. Let me see how they can help. Oh, okay, such and such. My aunt, she has a chiropractor. She told me about this. Oh, you know what? I was in a store in the inner city and I saw this. I got your card. I saw you at a store talking. My friend was talking about that. And that comes from us educating. That comes from us sharing the miracles. They shared a prescription. Yeah. I can't walk out my house without hearing a vaccine. Yeah. But how come I'm not hearing about how I can get a specific scientific chiropractic adjustment that can change my life? Yeah. That's what I need to see when I'm going out. That's what I need to hear about at the dinner table at night, in the locker rooms, as the boys are playing basketball or football. And I need to go get my adjustment. I just hit the wood today. You know, that's the thing that's going to change it. It's the conversation. Yeah. Yeah. And you know, it's interesting too, you know, I'm going to go back a little bit for me. You know, when I was 25 years old, you know, when I started chiropractic school, I was probably about 21, 22 years old, right? You couldn't find a health food store. Whole Foods did not exist. None of this stuff existed. You know, there was no health food stores. You would go to like a GNC and that really wasn't health, you know, and now they're everywhere, right? They're everywhere. And it's got to be the same thing with chiropractic, right? And people identify with it. Yeah, they do. With that. They say, I'm going to spend a bunch of money, but I'm going to Whole Foods because I know my food's going to be good. That's right. And now we got to just have chiropractic offices on every corner. We have to have chiropractic. And listen, we both came from Michigan. We know that Michigan is a heavy chiropractic state. You know, you can go to Michigan, you know, you could be in, you know, where you were at 8 in Greenfield or 7 in Greenfield, or where I was on 10 in Greenfield. You go to a corner, there'd be a chiropractic officer, right? You know, because it was a really fertile place that people were going back in the 50s and 60s, because and everywhere, you know, but you go to other places, you don't see chiropractic anywhere, you know, and that's what we got to do. We got to start bringing chiropractic, like you said, to the masses, make it visible, let people know they can come in, but have the right, like, I love what you said, have the right attitude, have that caringness, you know, and people, when they get that picture of that, the whole you receive from is directly proportional to the whole you give from. So the more you give, you will receive, right? Because it's the same whole, right? You know, and it just gets filled up.
you know, when people start getting that and they realize it's not about the money, though the money will come. It's not about having people love you, though that you will get a ton of love. You know, it's really about how many people can I serve. And when it's all said and done on our deathbed, you know, I don't think the question is how much money did you make, how much success did you have, what kind of cars you had. It's going to be, for me, I hope it's going to be, you know, what the question I get asked is, did you serve? Did you give it all you got? You know, and that's just like you said, man, that's just an attitude. It's something that comes from within, and people can be trained to do that when they go out and actually do it. So I love it, man. Frank, listen, man, we could talk all day. We could talk all day. And I love you, and I appreciate you.
I love you too, man.
I appreciate what you're doing, and, you know, what you're doing for our students. You know, I appreciate what you're doing for the profession, and you know, I got a passion to start reaching out. And I just got thought flashes while you were talking that I'm going to act on. But, you know, I want to ask you one last question before we wrap up, right? And I just want I want to make this really, so think about this, because I want you to give me a 1 minute answer. That means that it's going to be like really condensed and compact, so that it's going to be like that. In 20 years, you're 18 years in practice. 22 years from now, where you're sitting in my chair, where I'm 40 years graduated, right? You know, post-graduation. What, in your vision, if you can make this crystal ball and be able to see where chiropractic is at that moment, right? In a minute, I want you to tell me what that looks like. So think about it for a second, but I want you to tell me, what does that look like? Where is chiropractic in your dream, in your vision?
I already got it, Doc. I already got it. I've been thinking about it for years. We started a company called Evoke Chiropractic Coaching. Evoke offices in inner cities all around the United States. Evoke offices in inner cities all around the United States, teaching the philosophy, the science, and the art of chiropractic, running clinics that serve the community, that give to the community, and that teach people how to have a healthy life. And health, when you have a life of health, that's the foundation of it. It springs healthy families, it springs higher and healthier education, it decreases violence, and it changes the fabric of society. That's it right there. That's it, Doc. I don't even need a minute, Doc.
You don't. I love it. I love it. And you know, just for our viewers to know, obviously they already saw it, because we're going to put all this stuff on the bottom of the screen. They'll be able to see it all and go to it. You know, I love it, man. I mean, that's a great note to end on, Doc. You know, that's absolutely awesome. And thank you. I want to thank you for the work you're doing. I want to thank you for, you know, for supporting our college and other colleges that are out there, but mostly for doing what you said earlier, taking care of our students, taking care of our children, so to speak, you know, like the young people coming up, because that is the only way we're going to change this world, is by having more people coming into chiropractic, right? And then having them going out and serve. So thank you for all you're doing. To our listeners, I want to thank you for being with us today. You know, Dr. Frank is, you can feel his passion coming right through the screen, and eat this stuff up, you know, like this is the stuff you can put in a smoothie and drink, but not just one time to just kind of like, you know, urinate it out and just get a little bit.
Right.
Keep drinking it, man. Keep taking it, you know, whether you want to call it a smoothie or Kool-Aid, I don't really care, but just keep doing it, because it's really what makes the success, right? We got a very powerful thing in our hands and our heart. You know, it's just got to be in our hearts to get it out. And man, success is just right there. So thank you for being with us today. Thank you for supporting, you know, our leadership line, and keep coming back to it. We'll keep bringing you great people. And Frank, you just hit a grand slam today. Tiger Stadium went right out there, man.
Out the door, baby.
Out the door. So thank you so much. And to all of our viewers and listeners, we'll be back at you again for another Life Leadership Line. And until then, keep hugging those people around you. Keep sharing what you have. Keep coming from your heart. And most of all, keep serving for the sake of serving. Right? Don't serve to get, serve to give. And I promise you that whole will just is directly proportional to what you receive from it. It'll just come right back at you. Okay. So until next time, I love and appreciate you all, and we'll see you around the corner. Bye-bye.